So, as most of you have read, I had a panicky kind of day. Everything was either stressful or causing me stress or worry. I woke up this morning and the game show network wasn't blaring on one of those stupid game shows, and my grandpa wasn't sitting in grandma's chair. And I'm starting to wonder where he's at. So I notice the animals are about, Sam's in one spot, Peanut's in another. I get up. His newspaper's on the back of the chair. Well, I noticed in his bedroom that his bed is perfectly made, and he's nowhere to be found. At this point, I look out the window. My SUV is gone. Now, mind you, I don't have my glasses on, so I can't really see all the way out to the garage, but I thought I didn't see his car in there. Now, mind you, Grandpa's car is gray. So, if it was there, I couldn't really see it that well without my glasses, but I was just fraught with worry. No note, and he was gone. So, I call my mom, concerned. And she goes, well, do you remember anything that he might have said or told you? And of course, it doesn't hit me at that point. What he told me right before he went to bed last night was that he forgot to go to Walgreens to pick up his medication. Now, if I was thinking, that's where he would have been. Instead, I'm like, well, he said his check engine light on his car came on, so I'm going to call out to you, Save Auto, and see if he's out there. So I immediately call out to you, Save, and the guy is like, no, he's not here. And I said, well, if he shows up, would you call me? Well, yeah. And he's, a little concerned. So I hang up, call my mom back, said, well, he's not there. She goes, well, you're going to have to call the piece meals because you can't just stop your job to go get the meal, and you're going to have to leave like a chair out there for them to leave the meal. I said, you're right. So then I have her on this line here. I'm calling piece meals over here because this is my cell phone. This is the landline. And so it's ringing, and he comes through the back door. And he's like, what are you doing? I said, what are you doing? Where have you been? He says, I told you last night before I went to bed I forgot to get my medication at Walgreens. And I was like, oh my gosh, blonde moment. And so I just hung up the phone on piecemeals, thank God. And I didn't tell him, not to bring his meal because he got his meal. And then I had to turn around, tell my mom he was in the house. And then it wasn't maybe even an hour after I'd started working, I could hear Grandpa going, oh, goodness. And I thought, oh, my gosh, what happened now? He goes, good thing I didn't take any medication, I heard him say out real loud. He said, because, he goes, they refilled my heart medication, not my thyroid pill. So he had to call out there and tell him, hey, you refilled the wrong medication. That became a whole new ball of wax. They almost had to get the doctor involved because they thought that maybe he was taking the wrong amount of medicine, and myself, I'm just distraught with worry. I've got too much going on, and I can't get into a lot of detail. It was just a lot piled at one day. And anybody who's been there knows you get to that breaking point and you start crying. That happened. I started crying at one point in this day. It was just all like a mountain, slowly building up, and then a volcano eruption, you know what I'm saying? And I was just like going, I cannot take much more of this fun. So at the end of this day, I was so grateful for it to be over. But in book news, let's get to that. I finished the Maisie Yates book. Hold on a second. I'll get it. Snowed In with the Cowboy. I will do a small book review on that. I don't think it's worth reading. Well, it is, but it isn't. I would say it's about a 3 to a 4. And that's pretty bad for me. And I love Maisie. I really do. It's just I didn't agree with the story. But the trust part was something where I thought won me over because they have to overcome their trust issues. And that part was decent. But the rest of the book, no. And I've started a 4-book series just in time for Valentine's Day. And it's Susan Mallory. The first book in the series is Tempting. Who would not want a handsome man feeding you a bowl of cherries? Just saying. And let me tell you, it is a good book. Because, yes, there's some background history in the book. And to understand what that is, you'd have to see my book review that I'm going to do on this book after I read the book. But this is book 1 of 4, so it's going to be great. Anyway, you want to stay tuned for that. Nothing else major to tell you today, except I keep biting the inside of my mouth. I'm stressed about that. I'm also stressed because, I see the dentist coming up. So that's another stress. It's just stress upon stress right now. And I I need some good news in my life. So I just hope that at some point some good news happens. That's all I'm going to say there. Anyway, because I want a ball, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to let the evils win. So stay tuned. Book review next.